Well, we are the Redeemed Trio, and some of you might recognize this guy. This is Reverend Dr. Todd Forman. He doesn't go by that very often. But if you've been to the Lake of the Ozarks Gospel Sing, you'll see him emceeing on the stage there. And you might recognize the lady over on his left and your right, because she was taking tickets for the Gospel Sing this last year, so she met you at the front door. But this is Don Moritz, and Don was our music pastor at First Baptist Church for Sales. Todd and I were there for 21 years, and Dawn led there for 10 years before she went to her father-in-law's church. She's a retired school teacher.
Woohoo!
That's the retired part.
And
Graduate from Lebanon.
that's right. Yes, Lebanon High School.
Yes.
And Grandma, or Yaya, of Miss Eleanor.
That's right.
And I am Kim Forman. I'm married to this guy. And I am Grandma, or Nana, to Mackenzie Marie, born just a month ago.
I'd go yesterday.
So, yeah, we got pictures. We can show you all later. As Dwayne mentioned earlier, we are songwriters. Todd's written quite a few songs. I've written a few, and we're going to sing one of mine, I think, later. And on our next CD that we don't have out just yet, Don's got an awesome song that we're going to be doing. So we enjoy that. The song we're getting ready to sing is one that we will probably always sing. You may recognize it. The Hoppers did it a few years ago. Todd and I have 4 children. And our youngest 2 are here tonight. They're hiding. One of them's here, and the other one's around somewhere. They're twins. We have an adult daughter in New York City, and then our adult son that has the grandbaby, and then we have the 7-year talk. And I always wanted 4 kids. I was kind of sad that we were only having 3, and then God said, "Nope, I'm going to give you 4 anyway." So one of them is the most planned of all 4. We didn't know which one was planned, so we just kept them both.
So far.
But they are 15. Caleb is here. He brought his buddy. He's doing some video work tonight. Matthew's waving here. And Joel is hiding up there somewhere. He's way up there waving. He's doing some video work. When they were about 16 months old, we knew something wasn't quite right with Joel. He didn't sit up when he should have sat up, and he wasn't crawling, and he certainly couldn't walk. And we had a lot of testing done with the doctors. And the neurologist finally said, we've done scans and all sorts of things, and he said, your son has cerebral palsy. And you need to be prepared that he may never walk on his own. He may be in a wheelchair. He may use a walker. And the circumstances didn't change. It wasn't any different than what we had already seen, but now we had a name for it. But that night, we came home. It was Wednesday night. Todd, being the good pastor, was going to church, and I said, I'm just not going. I don't want to be around people right now. And I got out on our back deck. We had a beautiful back deck on a hill overlooking a valley, and just poured my heart out to God. And I didn't really ask, why did this happen? Because I know we live in a fallen world, and bad stuff happens to good people all the time. But I wanted more than anything to trade places with my son. And I remember saying, I love him so much. Why did it have to be him? Why couldn't it be me? And in the stillness of that moment, God spoke to me and said, I already knew all of this. I already knew Joel had cerebral palsy before you ever did. And I love him so much that I already paid the price for him. And that's more than you could ever do for your son. Now, it hasn't been easy. Hasn't been a bed of roses. Joel's a smart little cookie. He does, by the grace of God, walk independently. He uses crutches once in a while. He doesn't like to use them very much because he'd rather just fall down. Because when you fall and you're 15, Joel says cerebral palsy is a chick magnet. And the girls want to hold your hand and help you walk. I think his favorite verse right now is Romans 8:28. God can work all things for good.
And that is very good.
But what I want to say to you tonight, stuff happens all the time. We've been there. You shared earlier tonight, Danny was sharing earlier, with cancer hitting their family. And Todd was one of those pastors that Danny called. When you get that phone call, when that child has gone astray from what you planned for that child, when you get the call from the doctor and the tests weren't what you wanted to hear, or there's been that accident that's happened, God is not surprised. And our God loves us so much that he's already gone and paid the price for every single one of us here. And we know ultimately, no matter what happens in this life, he's paid the price so that there's glory and there's hope and there's eternity forever with him.
That's right.
So no matter what you're going through tonight, just remember, God already knew, and he loves you more than you will ever know.